Everyone you and I know is hustling hard to survive the incoming wave of AI. Yourself and even Declan here. Declan is my editor, but he's also running his own business. And you should probably be a bit worried that AI is just going to take everything that you do it better, and put you out of a job before you're even 25, correct? So now you're in a bit of a panic in your life where you're like, I need to make money now in the next 3 years, or I never have the opportunity to use my skills to make money. He's nodding. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to operate a one-man business, because technically you're a one-man business. I was for a long time a one-man business. Then I had to hire you to help me out with stuff. But I became very profitable, got a lot of green light signals early on, built a brand, and I didn't hire people to maybe 6 years in. So this video is for you. It's also kind of for him. And what's good is he's probably going to ask me the questions that you're thinking of as we film it. So running and operating a one-person business it's not difficult at all. If anything, it's so much easier, because managing people is just energy, it's organization. And I think a lot of people are kind of saying to people, oh, you should get someone to do this, get someone to do that. No. In the onset, you want to do everything yourself. You want to keep it tight-knit. And also, the one thing that you were asking me just before we started recording, Declan, was about getting profitable early. Now, as a one-man band, you only need to cover your own bills. If you come out the gates with staff, you've got to pay a whole load of other costs before you actually get afloat.
I think it's also like you're probably doing something else as your full-time job. So you need to find a way that you can start making it somewhat profitable early.
Yeah. And we're going to go through that. So those of you that watched any of my videos before, we've got a 4-stage framework. And you can't jump steps on the framework. The first one is socials, then it's going to be squeeze, then it's going to be sell, then it's going to be scale. I'm going to go through that downstairs in a second. And in essence, I'm going to teach you that you don't need big teams, you don't need to DM strangers, you don't need to be doing sales calls. I'm saying that the majority of people giving you advice are lying to you. 10 years ago, I was working as a personal trainer in a budget gym in Bracknell, living at home with my parents and snorting too much cocaine at the weekends. Now I run multiple 7-figure businesses, but the Sunday Times, oh no, one of them's fallen down. Oh no, one of my Sunday Times #1 best-selling books has fallen over.
You can't see that in the frame, by the way, it's too tight.
What, is it not even in it? Well, you have to take my word for it then, people, won't you? #1 bestseller, by the way, not top 10. You know, some people, oh, I'm a best-selling author. Top 10, sure. Not #1 though, where? And I believe that the majority of you watching this video should be able to make it to $1 million in revenue on your own, but we're not going to go that far. We're just going to start at 10K a month and what that looks like. So the first thing we need to look at is what I call the hybrid advantage. And for that to make most sense, we're going to go downstairs. Something very important when it comes to growing online is what I call the hybrid advantage. And not hybrid as in the people that like run and lift and they're like, oh, I'm a hybrid athlete. I do high rocks. None of that. Do you do high rocks? You look like you do high rocks. So a good example for this would be personal training. And we're also going to use Declan as an example here. So Declan at the moment has got one main pool of income, which is working for me. But his aspirations are actually to have a second pool of income. And I could be naive as an employee and go, he's just going to work for me forever. But actually, everyone that works for me eventually will leave me from what the skills they learn, I hope. So let's say that's you there. Another example of this would be people that are PTs and then people that want to PT online. So in the onset, what's good is for Declan, the amount that I pay him covers his Maslow hierarchy of needs. So he can afford to pay for his rent, his food, his gym, his clothes, etc. Most personal trainers should be looking at their business the same. Yeah, it might not be sexy that you're not in Bali and you're working in a gym and you're having to count people's reps and sets, but this first part of the scale here is about getting enough money just to pay the bills. Because once this is covered, you can relax and go, okay, if it takes 1 year or 3 years or 5 years, it's fine. The issue is that there are some people, even people in my mentorship, that come straight to this side and go, I want a PT online. I've only got 4 clients. How can I get to 20 clients? I go, well, what are you doing at the moment? Nothing. I'm just fully online. It's a bit of a scary place to be in. Same way that if Declan quit today, he could run his own online business, but is it going to be enough to cover his bills? Probably not. If you go straight into this, the worst thing is stress. Because with you covering your bills here, if you have an email marketing email that bombs, it's not going to feel great, but it's not the end of the world. If you're over here and you build a course and no one buys it, it's not the end of the world. Also, knowing that all your bills are paid for in tier 1 means that you can have a few weeks off, or you can try some new things, or you can do some high risk stuff over here. So it's really important that people realize that they want to have over here the day job. So you might be an accountant for a business that you're employed. You could be a physio in someone else's practice. This is the thing that you're going to build up. This is the thing that's going to pay the bills. Now, for those of you, unfortunately, you want to go straight into number 2. You want to be an online personal trainer. You want to be Insta famous and mega rich. I get it. Or you want to have your own business or whatever. Can't stress this enough. There is so much of an advantage if you just get what you want here from a job. And then at the stage you're making enough money, you're going to go across and do this full time. So let's think about it this way. Let's say I pay Declan 10K a month, which isn't far off. Cool. The reality is that when he starts his online thing over here, even though 10K might not be his earning potential, it's enough to pay his bills, pay his taxes or whatever. The reality is that over here, these things are going to take time to build up. And again, if you were to start just here and trying to make a living from this, it's too much stress. It's just too much pressure on yourself to perform. And this is where people get very overwhelmed and upset and whatever. So with Declan having his job here, if you made $100 this month with your side gig, you'd probably be pretty chuffed. But if it's 5 months in and you're only making $800, although you could be quite disappointed with it, you're not going to be in a position where you have to pack it all in and go do whatever. The issue is that if Declan doesn't have this job here, the primary income, by this point, he's going to have to fuck off back to a job in corporate or recruitment or whatever. So again, Declan would rather be at home right now doing his own thing, making his own money, but he's here working for me for this exact reason, because he's got to pay the bills until he builds this up in the background. How much are you making a month actually at the moment from $300 a month? Oh, really? Just in views. Cool. So you're making $300 per month. Is that USD? Come on, mate. I know you're back in the UK with me, but come on, mate. Let's go followers for the business. Is that Instagram or YouTube? Mate, that's actually really good. Fuck, you might be leaving me sooner than I thought. Instagram, do you use Instagram at all for business, really? Although you've got it. Do you know how many monthly views you're getting?
80,000.
Fucking hell. Yeah, it's pretty good. 4,000 on the email list. Let that sink in, right? Because there are personal trainers here that I work with. There's one guy I was just having a fucking argument with in the Discord. In the last year, he's grown his email list by 180 people. 180 people. More people heard my car parking it in the gym today than you've got on your email list. That's sick. Cool. Now, the good thing here is you're absolutely backing up my exact point. You are building up the most important part of your business here, and it's not paying that much. And how long have you been running this business?
5 months.
Cool. This is great. This is everything you need. This backs up my point exactly that if you are in a hybrid position, how do you feel about this at the moment?
Pretty good, but I just need to make the course and then I either feel great or I feel like shit. Let's see.
So Declan feels pretty good with this. And you know what? I feel pretty good about that with you. But how do you feel when I take this away? Not good. Cool. So I don't care how fucking sexy you are, how much muscles you got, or how good your fucking butt looks in a pair of leggings. To do both at the same time is a massive, massive advantage. Do not neglect that, because you just don't need the stress. You've probably got a number in your head where you're going to make so much from this that you'll probably go to part-time and then you'll leave. Or what you'll do is you'll go, James, this is how this situation is going to change. I'm still going to do your edit, but instead of me doing it, my agency is going to do it. My agency is going to bill you and whatever. Then you're going to hire people to do it underneath you. Okay, cool. Now, the second thing that we're going to talk about after the hybrid advantage, everything you know about social media is wrong. Whatever amount of followers you have, the golden aim is to get 20% of them onto your email list. So what did you do that before? You said 7,000, 4,000. You've got over 50% of your fucking followers on your email list. How did you get so many?
Free lots.
What do you mean free lots?
So I gave away free lots.
Oh, free lots. I thought you said, so as a percentage of your audience, that's fucking incredible. So that's good. So you're going to build a course. What's great here is, even if 1%, how much are you going to sell the course for?
Start with $99 and then just raise it every couple of.
Cool. So as far as the amount of followers to the amount of people on your email list, the percentage I love is 20%. You're absolutely smashing that. But the one thing that everyone doesn't really tell you, I'm kind of jumping a step here, but we'll get into it, is I think 1% conversions is good. Some people out there go, oh, only 1% of people bought my program. I'm like, mate, that's fucking great. So if you were to see 1% of yours buy, that's going to be 40 purchases at $99. Call it $100. It's going to be $4,000 straight away, just from that first initial push. Then not to mention, if that was 1% per email, you could probably squeeze through maybe 10K from your launch. Then with that money, you could run some paid ads, you could grow your audience, you can make more content for $4,000. Yeah. Anyway, we'll come back to that bit in a second. So people out there, they're getting depressed. Again, 1% for some people, they might think that it's a really depressing amount of sales. But if you have enough email addresses and enough of your followers on your email list, that 1% is absolutely fine. So I don't think there's ever been a point in my business where more than 1% of my audience are doing business with me. Even in the business mentorship, we got 50,000 on YouTube. We haven't got 5,000 in the Discord. So 6, 7. Anyway, cool. All right, we'll skip that bit. So although it can be really complex at times for people, so many people on social media are saying you need to do so much. But this ratio, for any of you that kind of want to do an audit, you want to stress test your business at the moment, what percentage of my followers are on my email list? Now, if this is at 10%, it's not bad, right? I can accept that. It's not too bad, but straight away, you've got 2 places you can put your attention, because a video that gets email addresses is very different to a video that gets your followers. So for instance, my focus to grow this bit is going to be using good hooks. It's going to be doing loads of research. It's going to be looking at trends. It's going to be doing all the kinds of things that are going to get new people onto my account. But then trying to get email addresses is going to be a completely different type of sales content. So whatever you're going to put out at the moment, you ask yourself, right, I'm at 10%. What's more important? More followers or more emails? Probably more emails. Think of followers as planting crops. Think of emails as harvesting those crops. So planting the crops, 10 months later, harvest them. You can't really do both at the same time. I would say this video is actually more about getting followers in, because our packaging, we're talking about going from 0 to 10K. We spoke about the single man business. This is probably going to draw in more people from a different audience. So if this video was about emails, I would have given you a call to action way earlier, because when it comes to getting lead magnets, I typically won't put them too early in the video. So let's say...
We wouldn't argument be to try to capture as many people as possible.
Yeah, you've got that. But so let's say this is a typical retention graph of video. If emails were the most important thing, I'd have a lead magnet here, here, here. But this video, I actually think is one of the less planned, more talk-alongs, more whatever, where I would say probably 80 or 90% of people of this video are going to leave because they're going to go, oh, this isn't a perfectly curated video. This guy's just chatting to his fucking videographer. He's just chatting shit. So let's say all these people up until this point leave. This video for me is actually about these guys.
So it's like qualified leads in a way.
Yeah. So you remember we said 1% of people was pretty good. For this, if 98% of people leave, the 2% that are remaining at the end, I could just look down the camera and say, buy my fucking course, you piece of shit. Oh, you're poor and ugly. I can't help you be less ugly, but I can help you be less poor. So yeah, you little piece of shit, click that link. That's what I'd say to them, Declan, at the end. Don't click it now. I've got a fucking video to teach you. Why are you being like that? So this video really for me is that core 2% of people that are going to go, Jesus Christ, this guy's content's really helping me out. Because even just hearing me say that 98% of people can fuck off and die, that makes them go, oh, do you know what? That's so refreshing to hear. Because most people online are telling you that you should suck off every single person watching your video. Do you know how many people would have got their backs up and left at the thing that I just said there? You know, when I condescendingly looked down the lens and said to them, buy my shit or you can fuck off and die, most people would have thought, no way am I paying that guy. But the people that are left after this, they're the ones, Declan. They're the ones. All right, again, distracted. It's only supposed to be a 3-minute video. You're still going to be able to make this a reel, yeah? You're still going to make this a reel. Okay, we're going back upstairs. So just before we get into the exacts of how you'd get from $0 to $10,000. First thing we need to look into is there are a lot of you watching this who are trying to work your way towards that amount and you don't think that you should suck at things. So I'm going to quickly show you through some YouTube accounts of people that used to suck. Actually, I'll tell you what, Damien Talks Money is here. I haven't proofed any of these beforehand. But let's go have a look. So when you look at his videos, we can very quickly look at his most popular videos, 1.2 million, 904K, 742K. Wow, this guy's a fucking G. But if we go back to his oldest videos, first of all, he looks a little bit sinister in these thumbs. So look at this. Look at this guy. Overexposed. Color grading is completely out. Got some basic animations on the side. Very, very different to the stuff he does now. He's just got images that he screenshots across the screen. It's not quite what you would think. And again, a lot of people do what I'm doing and go back to the oldest ones. So that's why the views will be a little bit higher. But again, we can see that these videos here are quite a bit worse than the ones he's putting out now. I would say this isn't a terrible example. Another one, Ed Lawrence, my YouTube sensei, who crushes at the moment. If we go back to his old channel, Film Booth, I like to do this as an exercise for my students as well. The guy that taught me how to make YouTube videos, again, used to make the worst YouTube videos you've ever seen with some of the worst packaging you've ever seen. But let's go back even further than that. Marks Brownlee, who is a tech reviewer, 20.7 million subscribers. If we go back to his oldest videos, you've got a kid talking you through stuff. Look at this. So every single person that we see online at one point used to suck. And again, if I take you up to the top, he's made 1.7 thousand videos. Now, let's do some basic maths. And for basic maths, we're going to ChatGPT. 1.7 thousand videos on YouTube. That person posts one every 3 days, which is a lot. How long have they been posting for? One video every 3 days on YouTube is quite punchy. 14 years of posting every 3 days. That's insane. So another person we could use, Modern Wisdom. I could sometimes look at these podcasts and go, oh, why is this guy getting more views than me? We could go back to some of his oldest videos. I wonder if he's unlisted some of them, actually. Again, we go back to one of Chris's oldest videos where there's only one microphone between two people. His thumbnails used to be absolutely bloody awful. Terrible. But here's the point I want to draw your attention to. Chris has 4.1 thousand videos. 4.1 thousand videos. So for some of you out there, if you go take a long, hard look at your Instagram, you've done 180 posts and you're crying about results you haven't got. You're on YouTube, you've posted 30 videos across 3 years and you're crying about the results you don't have. Let me have a little look here. If I look at nearly 5,000 fucking Instagram posts. So for those of you that out there that maybe suck at content, everyone fucking sucks. Some people put in the work, grafting and growing their audience, and some people don't. And if you think you're in the camp of people that doesn't have to turn up that many times, and you think you can just get lucky and get to 1 million followers within 1,000 posts, fuck off, you fucking delusional piece of shit. So you suck, we all suck. I'm nearly a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Guess what? I was fucking awful at white belt. And it took me 9 years to get better. If you think there is any way you're going to circumnavigate that, you're dreaming. Okay, one of the next stages that we're going to need, we spoke about social media. This isn't really a video on content creation. This is more about the money making of it. We could do a whole other video about content creation. Or if you've got any topics that you want, just comment below. So the next stage is going to be email marketing. Now, I do suggest that you have some form of email marketing segmentation for when people sign up. For instance, say someone joins my email list today and it's a Friday afternoon and I'm not going to work over the weekend. I don't want that person to sign up and then have crickets and not get anything from me for 2 days and they get an email on Monday. So I might set up some email automations that are in place. So if you look in the description to this video, there should be a link that says 30 ways in 30 days. I want you to click that, I want you to sign up to it, and I want you to steal it. So what will happen is every single day over those 30 days, I will give you a little bit of a nugget in an email that takes less than 60 seconds to read. And the idea is, again, that 90% of people go, oh, that's pretty good. Never thought of that. And they get to the end and never buy it. But for 10% of people, as they're reading them, they're getting nurtured without even realizing. And when they get to the end of the sequence, they go, shit, if I learned all that for free, imagine what I get if I paid that person. So again, rather than me going on about how we should structure the emails, where they should be aligned, where the call to action should be, why there wasn't a call to action in the first 2 days and all the rest of them did, and why the call to action is in the PS, just copy mine. It's much easier. Was that a lead magnet? Yes, it was. Now, the next thing I'm going to tell you about, for the very few remaining people that have made it this far in the video, because you're not offended by the way that I've spoken to you, is I've spoken a lot before about why sales calls are dead. I think in 2020, people needed more information. And people were sat at home and they wanted to do Zoom calls. They don't anymore. And the pandemic protocol of making sales isn't the same as today. What people need is information. I've still got people now that I work with that are really scared to let go of sales calls. They go, oh, but sales calls have worked for me. And, I'm really worried to let go of them. My question to you is this. What is someone getting from a sales call that they couldn't get from your website? Because if someone arrives to your website and they read it and they don't buy, but if they jump on a call with you for an hour and they do buy, you're obviously giving them something on the call that they're not getting from your website. So you can keep continuing to do that and give up hours of your time for people that get to the end of the call and say, I need to think about it. Or you could just make your fucking landing page on your website better. Now, again, the language there is a bit interjectable. So this is a landing page. And the reason I call it a landing page is this has one purpose, and to get people to buy. A website would have about me, contact, FAQs, all of that rubbish. You might even have some socials links at the bottom, which again, I think is fucking moronic, because the last thing you want someone to do is get to the bottom and click on YouTube. So again, there's going to be a link to this template here where you can basically copy my highly converting landing page structure. But the reason for this is, let's bring it back to Declan for a second. Right now, 4,000 people on his email list, he sends them an offer. If he then wants to do sales calls, there's now a barrier between the 4,000 people on his list and money appearing in his bank account. I would much rather that he spent a few days putting together a highly converting landing page so that every time he hits that list of 4,000 people, his diary doesn't become fuller. Because him being a hybrid business at the moment, if Declan now has to do 10 sales calls a week, my edits are going to get shitter, he's going to get fired, and he's going to lose that first pillar of income that holds him afloat. Or his life's going to become miserable because he's now got to get home from working for me all day to then sit on 3 hours of sales calls for 2 people to buy and 1 person to waste his time. It just doesn't make sense for people to need to jump on a call with him when he could just have a page that they land on. And this is the question I'll ask him, which I haven't preemptively asked him now. Would you rather, Declan, 2 out of 3 people that you do a sales call with buy your product, but the sales calls are half an hour? Or would you rather it being 2 out of 3 people, it's now 2 out of 6 people, so the ratio of people buying is halved, but you don't have to talk to them? So the answer is, that he's just said, in case you didn't hear it on the mic, is he would much rather just make more content. And those 3 hours you spend on the call, you could spend 1 hour filming, 2 hour editing, and boom, you're just bringing more people in. And this is the thing that I don't think people realize. You could tell me that your sales calls are way more successful than your landing page, and I'd go, I still don't care. I would rather the worst performing landing page be there. Because if you've got 4,000 emails now, it's not going to be long to you're at 10,000. It's not going to be long to you're at 50,000. And eventually you're going to get to the point where you go, I can't do the sales calls, or I'm going to have to pay someone else to do them, or whatever. I think it just makes so much more sense to have a system that works so you can stay doing what you're good at and that you enjoy the content. For instance, right now, I'm enjoying this way more. And this 1 hour of work can reach thousands of people versus a sales call can only really reach one person. So copy my emails, copy my landing page. It's quite simple, pretty much. I say tiny bit of branding. I hate it when people put their logo there because essentially your logo doesn't do anything. If yours says Declan Jenkinson Film, I'm like, cool. Above the fold, so where the marker is the first part of the screen I'm going to see. I'm like, I didn't do anything. I didn't see your logo and go, fucking hell, where do I pay? The heading and the subheading, you could say, learn to color grade and stop wasting your money on LUTs. Straight away, I go, fuck, I am wasting my money on LUTs, whatever it is. VSL, introduction to yourself, the program, what you've created, how it helps them, how it changed their life, pricing, different things, how to pay. And again, you get that from the description. But the idea of jumping on calls with people, I fucking hate phone calls, to be perfectly honest with you. And again, you should too. And again, if someone is going to jump on a call, they should pay for it. That's the way I see it. And again, I think there's something beautiful about the fact that if you watch this video and you click on my business mentorship page and you don't feel compelled to buy, fine. Your course is going to help people color grading. My course helps people make more money. And if you need a fucking phone call to buy it, then fuck off and join someone else's program. It sounds mad, but if you're already such a needy fucker before we've even got to the mentorship, I don't care. Like, you know, if someone's like, okay, and Declan, how is this course going to help me or whatever? Now, there are some people that will need some form of call. Let's say you run an accountancy firm and you deal with businesses that make between 1 and 500k a year or between $1 and $5 million a year, whatever. But even then, I would say to them, you pay the money, you join or you apply, then in the onboarding call, if you're not a right fit, I'll refund you the money. Because then even if you're going to pay the same amount of money, and that's the only onboarding process I'd have. Some people, some personal trainers are like, oh, but James, that I need to call them to make sure they're a right fit for my business. I'm like, all right, why not? Charge them the money, make them pay. When you do the onboarding call, if they go, oh, sorry, Susie, I'm really sorry, but this is a skiing program and you don't have any legs, I'm going to refund you. And Susie, you probably shouldn't have bought because you haven't got any legs. So it's one of those. I would rather money was in the bank, few people got refunded than the alternative. So like, let's say you run a higher ticket course, which is a handheld editing masterclass where it's 10k, you get full access to all the courses, and over 10 weeks you do a one-to-one where you can watch them edit and give them tricks or whatever. You just say to someone, it's 10k. In the first call, if I realize that you have no idea what you're doing, I'll just refund you. Because let's say someone buys your color grading course and then goes, hey mate, I've not got a laptop. You'd be like, well, why? Rather than being like, oh, why'd you buy it? Because if you don't refund that person, they'll go to all corners of the internet. They'll troll you. They'll chat shit. Mate, so we're doing the new Sonic variety packs at the moment. Some people will come back and go, James, I don't like this flavor. And I'll refund them a quarter of the pack. Some people go, I didn't like these 2 flavors. I'll refund half the pack. This week, from where we've gone a bit wider with the offer, some people go, I didn't like any of the flavors. I know they're lying, but I refund them because I would rather be the mug than have one psychopath that fucking then goes to Amazon and gives it a 1-star review and then they talk to a newspaper and say they got ill. I would rather have them mug me off than the other way around. And that person that bought the course and doesn't have a laptop, in sense, has mugged you off a little bit. But so what? Just eat the loss of 4 cents that you lose on the Stripe transaction fee. Okay, we're going to go downstairs, do the last part of how we're going to get to 10k a month. Let's do it. Let's run it. Okay, so we're going to look at the 10k per month running your online business. First things first, let's break that down. Let's say it's 30 days a month. So we need to find $333 per day. So your course was $99.
You think that's a good starting point as well?
For a $99 course? Yeah, 100%. Nah, because if that course is worth $199, you sell it for $99, it's fine. But because you've got tier 1, you're way better off undercharging. Because again, when I started the business mentorship, it was $800 lifetime access. Those people that paid me the least, Catherine Sargent's, the Ryan Mokes, Eric, who's got fucking millions of followers. Those people are the ones now that go out their way to give me the best testimonials. And again, you can afford to undercharge because you have the first primary level of income. And for people to join and know they got a fucking good deal makes them feel happy. So again, that's fine. Even if it's worth $1,000, starting off with that is great. Then also, when you do start putting up prices, when we construct your landing page, you could say over 3,000 people have learned to grade using this system as an appeal to authority to make them think, well, if everyone's doing it, I should be doing it. So let's say you need 3.5 sales a day.
I think with the emails now, I'm getting like around 60 a day.
Wow, okay. So 3.5 sales a day, 60 new emails.
And that's from 2 pieces of evergreen YouTube content. It just keeps getting in.
Okay, and those are coming from evergreen. So that means that they're old videos that are showing you leads, which is the probably best benefit of using YouTube. Okay, that's great. So if we wanted to get, I'm just going to double check my maths here. If I needed 3.5 people to buy and there's 60 of them, what percentage of those people do I need to buy? I get ChatGPT to help me with everything now, but it might not even be correct, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, cool. 5.8%. So you would need a 5.8 98% success rate on the people coming in evergreen to hit that quota. And I would say that that is way too punchy, and that's completely fine. So when we're working towards that 10K, to be short of it is fine in the onset, because at the moment, this is your current system. But the other thing is your business is in its infancy. And if I was to say, post, how many videos a week do you do at the moment?
Like once a month.
So if you were to increase your frequency to 1 a week, there's going to come a point where you're getting 600 new emails a day. And then at 600 emails a day, suddenly that would be a 0.58% success rate that you would need to make the money. If that makes sense today. Cool. So straight away, all we need to do is to get the 10K, we need to look at the amount we need to make per day. Then from the amount we need to make per day, 3.5 sales isn't that scary or that difficult. But now if we go back to the strategy of what that could look like. So we've got a funnel here. We spoke about it before. So socials, mostly YouTube, which I think is the best place for this, because people that are interested in what it is that you're doing are going to have content served to them. We could start doing some Instagram and some TikTok or whatever, but for the time being, I think this is completely fine. Socials. So at the moment, we're getting 60 emails per day from Evergreen, which is sick. Also, it's worth noting that as you add more content to the top of the funnel, that's going to improve. I would then say to yourself, how many community posts do you do a month? Cool. So you could just do some community posts that are like, whether it's talking about your offer, whether it's talking about your email list, you could even schedule a community post to go out once a week going, here is a problem that people have with editing, give them some kind of solution. If you want to hear more from me, join my email list. For your email list, when I join it, do I get automations?
10 days of...
Lovely. So you got the 10-day automation already in there, 38% open rate. That's great. Few responses. So already your system, you're not, how many videos a month would you say?
Very bad.
0.5, 0.35. So you're posting 4 times per year and you're already not actually that far off your quota. How much would you say you're making a month? Say 400, 300, fine. That's all right. But considering that you're not putting much in the top, if you were to go from that to 1 a month, you could potentially 4x everything that's happening over here.
See, my thing is I've been stalling making the content, trying to over-plan the course when I should just get the course out and then I can put all my attention into it.
So where your bottleneck is this point.
Yeah.
So we have the social, we have the squeeze, we have the sell. Now, because you haven't got something to sell, you've not been feeding the top of the funnel, which is completely fine because your offer. But when the course is finished, this is going to be the $99 course. And then is there going to be a high ticket offer?
Probably not.
Oh yeah, fine. Cool. No need for the high ticket offer. So we're going to have that. We're going to build the course. So then I don't think that selling 100 products a month is that difficult. It would be less than, 10K a month, $99 products, 100 sales a month. I don't think is crazy considering you're already getting this from doing it pretty part-time. So for instance, at this point, I don't think we need to introduce another offer. What would actually be the next thing to look at would be to scale. So eventually, once you hit 10K a month, you're probably then going to become partially limited with what you would do next. So for scale, what do you think you would do to grow the business? Would it be about more socials, more emails, more offers, or do you reckon at some point you would start to build a team? I've spoken to
team to as long as possible.
Cool, which goes into the point of the video. You want to keep it simple. So let's humor this for the second though. I think that I would say you would create some form of edit agency. Now, the reason I would say this is would then say you become, let's say, the director. You would then have editors. And then I reckon you would have some strategists, maybe one. You would then have a big established YouTube channel. Then I think you would go into business to business. So at the moment, these people, they're going to buy your course. Would you say they're consumers? Cool. So I would say this is B2C, business to consumer. They're hobbyists, like you say. I reckon then the next step would go B2B because you help these people color grade. That's great. But if you help another business become more profitable, get more views, if you can then help another business with the funnel, because this is the meta, this is the point of the whole video that really I'm trying to make the point of. You mastering this process here in your spare time whilst working for me will make you very efficient at understanding what content works, what emails convert, what offers get sales. Then you create this as your lifestyle business. So this is going to be the part that means you can travel the world and that you can enjoy yourself or whatever. And you could ride that for 3-4 years. And then it comes to a point where you go, fuck, I really want a Ferrari. I really want an 812 super fast with a Novitec exhaust. Great choice. So once you get to that point, you then would start to leverage your idea of how you would potentially scale because you could very difficult to sell anything above that. But the agency where you consider you've got to hire people, this is the bit where you can go to another business and you could say it's $15,000 for 3 months. And straight away, people go, why are you charging $15,000 for 3 months? Because if you go into most businesses and you say, here's the idea, I'm going to have 2 editors that work around the clock and I'm going to have a strategist that's going to do all our packaging, because this is actually what's happening at the moment for me. At the moment, I come up with the ideas for the videos, you edit them, then we have Ollie as the strategist. And the beautiful part of this is, after today's video, I walk away to go train jiu-jitsu. You edit the video. You send the screen grabs to Ollie. Ollie does the title and the thumbnails. Ollie then tests the titles and thumbnails to find out what works for me best, which means I can go off and be a director in other businesses like Newtonic or whatever. You can continue to edit the videos and Ollie can continue to learn what my audience wants. Now, the beauty of that is that going to pay back in one video 15 grand? Are we going to make 15 grand from this video? Maybe, maybe not. But over the course of 3, 6, 12 months, understanding that process for me is what benefits my business to make enough money that I wouldn't squint at $15,000. So that's where I think the scale would be. The only issue there is that would add a lot more stress to your life, because if you, what even is that? Fucking dogs. Would you fucking mind, lads? I'm trying to run a business here. All right, I'm closing the last minute, all right? Please buy my product so I can get richer friends. Huh? So now this is the point that's important. This part, the lifestyle business, this is the fun part. This is the part that you can do it on your own. You can run your own business. You can be stress-free. You can travel the world. You enjoy the shit out of that, Declan. That 0 to 10K per month, when you do the numbers, isn't actually that crazy. If you were to post more videos, you would get more emails where you'd still at 1% conversion rate. Because think of it this, right? If you're doing 4 videos a year, you could easily do 40 videos a year. Like, easily. So that means that your 60 people a day would be 600 people a day. If 1% of those buy your shit, that's 6 people a day. That takes you well beyond your sales target. That actually takes you to 20K per month at a 1% success rate. Then,
or double the price of the course at some point too.
Oh yeah, you could also just double the price of the course. Yeah, fucking didn't even think of that. Fuck, I might get you to do the next video. Then the scale part would be the part in the future. When you've made good connections, you know people within your network, this is actually where I think your play would be. I think you would say to me, James, I'm going to hire another editor. I'm going to hire Ollie full-time under me. And you're now going to pay my agency for what you currently pay both of us. That's where I think the play would be. That's why I've joked with you and Ollie having the boys.
So I just wonder if that responsibility is something that I want.
Well, this is the part, right? Because at the moment, the responsibility is tough. The other thing that's fucked is if I don't give you work, you cost me money without making me money. So if I don't give you good ideas, you cost me money without making money. So that's the stage that people rush to. They wish their life away and don't realize how fun this part is.
Yeah.
So
that sounds sick to me.
Running the business on your own is great, but there's going to come a point where 20K a month isn't enough. And the hard thing is right now, looking at 20K a month, you think that'd be amazing until you get to 20K a month and you go, well, if I want the car and I want the house near the beach and I want to fly business class, it's not enough. Cool. There's links in the description. If you want to work with me, it's like 3.5K, which seems like a lot. It's not. Everyone else charges way more. That Callaway lad on YouTube, 7 grand for his, then 1,900 a month. Just his blueprint is like 6K. Yeah, you make good videos, bro, but I'm pretty sure all you do is make videos. No offense, I'm not here beefing Callaway. I'm just saying, where are your best-selling books? Where's your 911 GT3? Where's your 8-figure drinks business? Where's your world's biggest coaching app? Where's your selling out the Hammersmith Polo? I'm not being bitter. I'm just saying, either you're overcharging or I'm undercharging. It could be me, if I'm completely honest. And one of the reasons could be because I already have loads of money. I don't know. But we could sell Newtonic in a few years. I'll have so much money that I'll be so expensive. And this is really the golden zone where I'm poor enough that I still need your business, but rich enough that I won't rip you off. Because I'll be honest, when that pay slip comes through in a few years' time, when Coca-Cola buy us, I ain't even talking to anyone for less than 100K. I'll be like, oh, you want a bit of help? Pay the money. Why the money? 100K? Or don't even bother. I won't even talk to my mates for less than 10 grand. Check the links in the description. Like I said, I can't help you if you're ugly, but I can help you if you want to make more money.
Brought to you by Newtonic.